Hey NFL fans, before we dive into today's hottest stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update from NFL news now. Man, let me tell you, when it comes to drama in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles never disappoint. And this week, we've got one of those moments that makes you stop and ask, what on earth is going on in that locker room? I'm talking about A.J. Brown, the Eagles' star wide receiver, basically throwing his own quarterback, Jalen Hurts, under the bus after that gut punch loss to the Denver Broncos. You could feel the tension oozing out of the post-game press conference, and it wasn't just frustration. It was something deeper, something that could spell trouble for the chemistry of this team moving forward. The Eagles went from nearly sealing a comfortable win to walking off the field in disbelief as the Broncos snatched a 21-17 comeback victory. And right in the middle of it all was a single play, a moment that said everything about where this offense stands. So let's set the scene. Late in the third quarter, the Eagles were leading 17-3 at home. The crowd at Lincoln Financial Field buzzing, the momentum seemingly theirs. The play was drawn up perfectly. A.J. Brown burned past safety Talanoa Hufanga like he was standing still. There it was, daylight, open field, and what looked like a guaranteed touchdown. All Hurts had to do was hit him in stride, and Philly would have been up 24-3. Game over, right? Except it didn't happen. Hurts let it fly, but something just didn't click. Brown slowed down mid-route, lost track of the ball, and by the time he tried to adjust, it was too late. The ball sailed past him, incomplete, and the chance to bury Denver was gone in an instant. From there, everything unraveled. The offense stalled, the defense bent, and the Broncos came roaring back with 18 unanswered points. The Eagles never scored again. Now, in football, mistakes happen. Timing gets off. Routes get misread. Quarterbacks and receivers aren't always in sync. But what came after the game? That's what raised eyebrows. When reporters asked Brown about the play, expecting maybe it will clean it up, or that one's on me, he did the exact opposite. He pointed right at his quarterback. From my point of view, it just missed, Brown said. It's not that I didn't think the ball was coming. When I looked up, I didn't see the ball. When I looked back, I didn't see the ball, and then the ball was thrown. It was just a miss. On the surface, it sounds innocent enough, but read between the lines. That wasn't Brown saying, we'll fix it. That was Brown saying, he missed me. And when you're talking about a leader like Jalen Hurts, a guy who's supposed to have the locker room's respect and command, that kind of public statement cuts deep. You could almost feel the silence in the Eagles' locker room after those words hit social media. Because here's the thing, A.J. Brown isn't just any receiver. He's the big money guy, the superstar brought in to make this offense unstoppable. He's the one fans look to when the Eagles need a spark, and lately, he hasn't exactly been shy about showing his frustration. Cameras have caught him on the sidelines more than once, animated, yelling, clearly unhappy with how things are running. And while passion is great, when that energy starts spilling into blame games, that's when cracks start to form. Brown's comment might have been subtle, but everyone knows what he meant. Hurts missed him, Hurts blew the play, and maybe, just maybe, Hurts isn't delivering the ball the way Brown wants it. But let's not pretend Brown's hands are clean in all of this. He was targeted 8 times in that game. 8, and caught only 5 passes for 43 yards. Not a terrible stat line, but nowhere near what fans expect from a player of his caliber. And that one deep shot, the one that could have changed everything, he didn't finish the route. If you watch the tape, you can see it clear as day. He slows up, almost hesitating, maybe expecting Hurts to throw it shorter. But when you're that open, when you've got your defender cooked, you can't afford hesitation. Great receivers finish the play no matter what. You run through the route like your life depends on it. Instead, Brown coasted, and the chance disappeared. What makes this even more interesting is the timing. Over the past few weeks, there's been a growing sense that A.J. Brown isn't thrilled with how the Eagles' offense has been operating. He's made comments about wanting more involvement, more consistency, and it's clear that the chemistry that once looked effortless between him and Hurts has started to wobble. Remember last season, when those two were lighting up defenses like it was backyard football? Every deep ball looked automatic. Every slant was money. That connection was part of what made Philly look like a juggernaut. Fast forward to now, and it feels like the magic has faded. Brown's body language on the field, the sideline outbursts, and now this. It all adds up to a growing disconnect that the coaching staff will have to address fast. Still, this doesn't feel like a meltdown yet. The Eagles are too talented, too experienced, to let one loss tear them apart. But these are the kinds of moments that test leadership. Jalen Hurts is known for being composed, calm, and accountable. He never points fingers, even when things go wrong. That's part of what's earned him so much respect in Philly. So how will he respond now, when his top wideout publicly questions his throw? Does he brush it off, chalk it up to frustration, and move on? Or does this start to eat away at the trust that quarterbacks and receivers need to have? Let's be real. Brown's comments won't go unnoticed in the locker room. Players talk. Coaches talk. When a star receiver takes a subtle shot like that, it can divide opinions fast. Some might back Brown, saying he's just being honest. Others might side with Hurts, arguing that leaders handle issues privately, not in front of cameras. And for a team like the Eagles, who have Super Bowl aspirations, that's the last kind of storyline they need hovering over them. Because when the focus shifts from the game to the drama, it's never a good sign. The irony of it all is that if that one play had gone differently, if Hurts and Brown had connected, we're probably talking about a blowout win and another dominant Philly performance. Instead, one miscue snowballed into a full-blown narrative about trust, communication, and frustration. That's how thin the margin is in the NFL. One play can change everything, not just on the scoreboard, but in the locker room dynamic. And honestly, this feels like more than just one bad throw or one bad route. It feels like a symptom of something bigger. Maybe it's the pressure. Maybe it's the expectations. Maybe it's just human nature. When things start to slip, emotions flare up. A.J. Brown wants to win. Jalen Hurts wants to win. The whole city of Philadelphia wants to win. But when players start expressing their dissatisfaction through the media, it never ends well. It's like adding fuel to a fire that was already smoldering. The good news? There's still time to fix it. The season's long, and both of these guys are too talented to let egos derail their chemistry. They've been through too much together to let one game define them. But if the Eagles' offense continues to stall, and if Brown keeps feeling underutilized, these little moments will keep piling up. One look, one quote, one missed pass, and suddenly, what started as a small communication issue becomes a full-blown narrative about dysfunction. So where do the Eagles go from here? It starts with honesty. Behind closed doors, Brown and Hurts need to hash this out. Forget the press conferences, forget the optics. Sit down, watch the tape, and figure out what went wrong. Because this offense can't function if the quarterback and star receiver aren't in sync. Philly fans don't want excuses. They want touchdowns. They want wins. They want the fire that made this team electric last season. And until that happens, every little gesture, every sideline moment, every post-game quote is going to be dissected and magnified. One thing's for sure, the spotlight's not going anywhere. Brown might not have meant to ignite controversy with his post-game comments, but he did. And now, every route he runs, every ball Hurts throws his way, will be under the microscope. The chemistry that once felt automatic now has to be rebuilt, play by play, snap by snap. Maybe this moment becomes a turning point, the wake-up call that reignites their connection. Or maybe it's the start of a rift that keeps growing until it can't be ignored. Either way, the Eagles' next few games are going to tell us everything we need to know about where this team really stands. Because in Philadelphia, accountability matters. Fans demand effort, passion, and unity. And when one of your stars throws shade, intentionally or not, it tests the very culture that's been built in that locker room. A.J. Brown has every right to be frustrated. He's a competitor, and he wants to dominate. But how he channels that frustration will determine whether this moment becomes a footnote or a headline for the rest of the season. For now, all eyes are on Hurts and Brown, two elite talents who have to rediscover what made them unstoppable in the first place before the noise outside gets too loud to ignore. Keep watching as we analyze more details about some rumors. All right, buckle up, folks, because this one is absolutely wild. What just happened in the NFL might go down as one of the most jaw-dropping, controversial moments in recent league history. We're talking about a game that millions of fans watched, that analysts spent all week breaking down, that had playoff implications written all over it. And now, poof, just like that, the league has pulled the plug. Rams versus Eagles has been officially annulled after what insiders are calling shocking irregularities. And I know, when we hear words like irregularities in sports, it usually means something behind the scenes, some technical glitch, maybe a rule misinterpretation. But this time, It sounds like there's a whole lot more to it than that. According to multiple sources close to the situation, the NFL has launched an internal investigation after receiving what they described as a credible and urgent complaint involving potential breaches of league integrity protocols during Sunday's matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles. You heard that right. This isn't just about a missed call or an officiating controversy. We're talking about something that has reportedly shaken up both teams, the refereeing crew, and even the broadcast partners. And when the NFL decides to go as far as annulling a completed game, you know the situation is nothing short of explosive. So let's rewind for a second. The Rams and Eagles were locked in what many were calling a statement game. Jalen Hurts and Matthew Stafford were trading blows. The energy was electric, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Philly fans packed Lincoln Financial Field expecting a showcase of dominance, while the Rams were desperate to prove they were still contenders. But what no one knew at the time, what no one could have possibly predicted, is that the drama on the field was only the tip of the iceberg. Rumors started swirling late Sunday night, just hours after the final whistle, when several eagle-eyed viewers noticed something strange about the officiating in the second half. Clips began circulating on social media showing inconsistent play calls, questionable penalties, and a few moments that fans labeled as too convenient in favor of one side. At first, it looked like your typical post-game outrage, fans venting, dissecting every frame, and finding patterns where there might not be any. But then, as Monday rolled around, insiders began whispering that the league's own integrity unit had flagged some anomalies during real-time data monitoring. And that's when the story took a turn from suspicious to downright alarming. Apparently, league analysts reviewing the game's digital data found what they called unusual communication activity between certain sideline devices and league-authorized communication channels. Now, if you know anything about NFL game day protocol, you know how tightly controlled those communication lines are. Every headset, every tablet, every frequency is monitored and logged. So, when the system detects irregular transmissions or unauthorized access, that's a big deal. By Tuesday morning, the league had quietly notified both teams that the game's result was being placed under review pending further investigation. The Rams camp reportedly reacted with disbelief, claiming they had no idea what was going on and that they'd followed every rule to the letter. The Eagles organization, on the other hand, has stayed eerily silent, releasing only a short statement saying they were cooperating fully with the league. That silence, of course, has only fueled speculation. Fans in Philly are divided, some defending the team fiercely, others already fearing the worst. What's even crazier is that several reporters have hinted that this situation might involve more than just the teams on the field. There's talk, unconfirmed, but persistent, that certain game day officials could have been compromised, possibly influenced in ways that breach the NFL's code of conduct. If that turns out to be true, we're not just talking about a forfeit or fine here. We're talking about a potential scandal that could rival the biggest in sports history. Think Deflategate, think Bountygate, but possibly even deeper. One insider described the atmosphere inside the league office right now as pure panic mode. Nobody seems to know how deep this rabbit hole goes. There are reports that the league has locked down the game footage, confiscated referee communication devices, and suspended certain staff pending the outcome of the inquiry. That's not something the NFL does lightly. When the league takes those steps, it means they suspect that something might have seriously compromised the fairness of the contest. Meanwhile, fans are losing their minds online. The phrase Rams-Eagles annulled has been trending nonstop, with everyone from former players to sports analysts weighing in. Some are calling this an overreaction, saying that unless there's solid proof of wrongdoing, the NFL is setting a dangerous precedent by nullifying a finished game. Others argue the opposite, saying it's about time the league takes integrity issues seriously instead of brushing them under the rug. And you can't help but notice how everyone suddenly wants to know, who benefits from this annulment? Who loses the most? And what's the real story behind those irregularities? It's worth noting that this isn't the first time the Eagles have found themselves in the middle of a controversy this season. Earlier in the year, there were murmurs about their in-game communication system malfunctioning during a key divisional matchup. At the time, the league chalked it up to technical difficulties and moved on. But now, looking back, some are wondering if that was the first smoke before the fire. And what about the Rams? Their head coach Sean McVay looked visibly frustrated during the second half, caught on camera arguing with officials about calls that didn't make sense. Did he know something was off? Was he reacting to the chaos already brewing behind the scenes? Now, here's where things get even more complicated. According to several unnamed sources, there might be a link between this game's communication anomalies and a third-party analytics contractor that provides in-game data tracking for multiple teams. If that connection turns out to be real, it opens up a whole new can of worms involving potential data breaches, compromised play information, and even betting market manipulation. And let's not forget, the NFL has been under increased scrutiny lately with its growing relationship to legalized sports betting. Any hint that game data was accessed or influenced inappropriately could send shockwaves across the entire league. For now, the NFL's official stance is that the game has been annulled, pending a full and thorough investigation. That means the stats don't count, the result doesn't stand, and, effectively, the game never happened in the record books. The league hasn't said whether it plans to reschedule it, replay it, or declare it void altogether. But one thing's for sure, this decision has left players furious. Several Rams players took to social media expressing frustration, saying they worked too hard for that win to be wiped away by something we had nothing to do with. On the other side, a few Eagles players posted cryptic messages suggesting they knew something was wrong during the game. And let's be honest, this entire thing feels surreal. The NFL prides itself on being a multi-billion-dollar, hyper-regulated machine where everything from football pressure to uniform socks is monitored. For a game to reach the point of annulment, it means someone, somewhere, seriously messed up, or something happened that the league just can't explain away. Could it be a technological glitch that spiraled out of control? Could it be human error? Or is this the beginning of a scandal that'll make us rethink everything we thought we knew about the integrity of the sport? Fans are already drawing parallels to past controversies, from the infamous Spygate saga to the bizarre 2012 replacement ref chaos. But this feels different. This feels modern, digital, and eerily precise. It's not about someone sneaking a camera or deflating a football. It's about data, signals, and the invisible threads that tie modern sports together. And that's what makes it so terrifying. Because if something like this can happen in one game, who's to say it hasn't happened before? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow NFL fans. Stay tuned for more updates, only here on NFL News Now.